So welcome everyone to the University of Massachusetts Spotlight series that we have. My name is Rachel Bukowski and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission here for the University of Massachusetts. I'm also an alum of UMass. I graduated in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in education. I have two fabulous tour guides with me today. I'm going to have them introduce themselves in a second. I just want to do some housekeeping items first. I also have another admissions counselor, another colleague of mine, Meg. She's behind the scenes and she's going to be answering all of your questions if you have any. If you do have questions, you can put those in the Q&A feature. She'll be helping me with that and answering some questions. The students will also be helping her with that. We did receive a few pre-submitted questions, which we will be answering. And then if we have time, we're going to try to take some live questions at the end. But this is a quick 30-minute spotlight series. So we might not have time, but we're hoping we have a little bit of time to answer some live questions at the end. I also want to mention that this session is being recorded. So if you would like to watch it later, or if you missed something, or if you forgot to write something down, do not worry. The session is being recorded and you can watch it later. It will be on our website and our YouTube channel. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to have the panelists, the tour guides introduce themselves and then we'll get started. So we're going to start with Brian.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Brian. I'm a sophomore kinesiology major on the pre-athletic training track, pursuing a minor in psychology. I'm originally from the suburbs of Philadelphia, so I am an out-of-state student, so I can definitely help out with any questions about that. Besides being a tour guide here on campus, I am a member of the Commonwealth Honors College. I recently became the vice president of the club gymnastics team here on campus. I'm associate member of the UMass Dance Company, as well as a member of Students for Reproductive Justice. And I have also served as a student panelist for diversity in the School of Public Health and Health Sciences. So I'll pass it on to Julia to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia and I am a sophomore biomedical engineering major and I'm from Central Mass. And besides being an amazing tour guide, which is my favorite job, I am in the Society of Women Engineers, Habitat for Humanity, and I'm also an engineering peer mentor for the College of Engineering. And I'll pass it back to Rachel.
Thank you both. And you're going to hear much more from them. You're actually going to hear more from them than you're going to hear from me. So I just want to kind of introduce this spotlight that we're doing today. So this spotlight series that we have, this webinar series, are short, quick, 30-minute podcast style webinars where we are featuring a different department or different topic across campus. And we're trying to cover things that aren't covered in any of our other events. So this topic today that you all are here for is something we're really excited. This is something I'm personally really excited for. I have been in the admissions office. I was also a tour guide back in the day, way before these two. And this is a topic that I've kind of wanted to do since then. So I'm super excited about this today. So we're going to try to cover, the hidden gems on campus and just the things we don't normally get to cover on tour because of our time restrictions or, where the buildings are on campus. So like I said, we're super excited to share this with you today. So the first thing I want to ask Brian and Julia is we have to start with dining. I mean, dining is probably the most talked about thing on this UMass campus. In case you were not aware, our dining is #1 for best campus dining in the country. So it is absolutely fabulous. It is delicious. I'm a foodie. I would not exaggerate this. I wouldn't joke around about this. It is absolutely delicious. So talking about dining, I want each Brian and Julie to kind of share, what is something though that we don't normally cover, about dining? What are those like hidden gem spots that you want to mention? Everyone knows about our dining halls and our food trucks and our blue wall. But what are those other little spots on campus that you want to share with the students? So we're going to start with Julia.
So obviously, like Rachel said, we are #1 dining, and most people think that's just because of how good our food is, which it is. But a lot of it has to do with how accessible the food is for everyone. We have so many different options and we have so many vegetarian, vegan, kosher, halal, gluten-free options. Whatever your dietary restrictions or just what you prefer, you can find at UMass. And they make sure that you know everything that goes into the dining, every little thing that they have, say it's chicken Chesterfield or something like that. They have a placard of all the different things in it and what it could contain that you could be allergic to. So I really think that's one of the reasons that UMass dining is so amazing. And also we have a lot of student-run businesses on campus. So if you don't want to go to the dining hall and you want to treat yourself a little bit, you can go to Greeno, Sweets and More, People's Market. And People's Market is my favorite because it has amazing salted caramel iced coffee. I get it I'd spent all my dining dollars on it. And also our dining halls have a late night, which means from 9 to 12, it turns from dinner into late night. And they have like pancake bars, and you can put M&Ms and Oreos and bananas in it. And sometimes they have special nights, and they can have like, oh, onion ring night or something like that. And it's just a really fun experience when it's 11 o'clock on a Thursday and you're like, hey, like roommate, want to go get some late night? And then you guys just go to late night and just hang out with all the other UMass people who are there. And I'll pass it over to Brian to talk a little bit more about the dining.
Thanks, Julia. I definitely agree with the late night. There have been so many times where I like will beg my roommates and like my friends to go to late night with me, and they'll be like, we have to stand in this long line because it's going to be worth it. And it usually is. My other favorite places to go, though, personally, I'm a huge fan of Roots Cafe. It's right in the Honors College. You obviously don't have to be an honor student to go there. You just use your dining dollars. They have the best quesadillas on campus, hands down. You cannot fight me on this because I will win. Also, they have great caprese sandwiches. They have some other like hot sandwiches, some colder ones too. You have a little salad bar. Little life hack: before 11 a.m. on weekdays, their to-go grab-and-go food is all on meal swipes. So in the morning, I would wake up and I'd run down to Roots and I'd like grab a breakfast sandwich and like a yogurt bowl and a banana or like a coffee and something like that, and then like run back up to my room and like sit there and eat my food right before I had to go to class, or I'd grab it on the way out. Another one, which is completely underrated and no one ever goes to, is the Newman Center. So the Newman Center is like the Catholic religious center. They have the best pancakes for Sunday mornings. You will go there and no one really knows about it. So you would just go there. It's like a little cafe. They have amazing breakfast. Like I can't stress enough how good it is.
Thank you both. And now I'm starving, so that's awesome. And I also just want to second all of what they said. That the Newman Center especially, that was one of my favorites when I was a student on campus. It had good breakfast then, and it still does now. So it's incredible. I also just want to say we're going to put in the chat. Actually, there's a question that just came in about it, so that's a good timing. I'm going to put in Meg is going to put in the chat actually the website on our dining options. So we didn't really talk much about that. We didn't get into it, but we're going to put the website so you can see the difference. There's a few different meal plans you can choose from here at UMass. And so you have a few options. That's why we didn't really get into it, because they're all a little bit different. And then you have your meal plans, then you have like your dining dollars, which is what they were talking about, which can pay for like a cup of coffee or something like that. So Meg will put that in the chat so you can get more info on the meal plans. And she just did that. Thank you, Meg. Okay, so switching gears just a little bit, actually a lot of it. This is a very different topic. But a lot of people wonder, where do students study on campus? And if you drive into our campus, the main building you see is our library. Our library is the tallest academic library in the world, and it's the third tallest library, just general library in the world. It has 28 stories. So it's actually in Meg's background picture. You can see that's our library. We didn't plan that. That was good timing. And so that's our library right behind her. So it's just an iconic building that you see from afar. So yes, students obviously study in the library. Brian is one of those students. He studies on the quiet course. We'll talk about that. But what are some of your other favorite study spots? Where do you like to go to study? And you could also study in your room, but students like to pick little cozy spots on campus. So what are those for you? So Brian, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, I'm a big fan of the quiet floors in the library just because I kind of need that little silence to pressure me to do my work. Otherwise, I will play on my phone all the time. So I usually go to the library, but one of my other favorite places to go is actually right next to the library. It's called South College. It's a building where the Humanities and Fine Arts College is based out of. The one thing that I love doing there is one of the reasons I love studying there is because it's like a new and old building. So the original buildings from like 1800s brick building, but then they renovated it to add on like a newer addition. So my favorite spot is right in the middle. They have this atrium that has like the exposed brick from the original building. And then it kind of goes into like the new building. There's a lot of natural light, like a sunlight, a sunroof. So like the light really comes in. You can actually see the library peeking around. You can look at it from there. And I just really like it because it's really pretty. And I was there like yesterday and it is super quiet. So it's a really nice spot to get your work done, but also have some natural light and feel like you're not getting holed up anywhere. I also recommend going to the greenhouse on campus just because it's nice fresh air. It's pretty warm in there too. So if you want to escape like the cold winters, you can definitely do that. It's just a really nice, calm environment to study in. I'll pass it to Julia, see what she says about her favorite study spots.
Thanks, Brian. So I am also someone who can't really study in my room. My freshman year, I'm a sophomore now, I had a lot of trouble finding the motivation to study in my room. So I was like, okay, I need to find places to study to get my work done. So my favorite place personally is the design building, and that is beautiful, just brand new building, amazing like cafe. And they also have on the second or third floor, they have like an outdoor terrace. It's like a garden. It's just gorgeous. And like somewhere you can just go up there and either like hang out, do your homework, or go up there with a friend. And then also today, actually early this morning, because online school absolutely is making me lose a lot of motivation. So I've been trying to get on campus as much as I can because I live off campus. And this morning at 9 a.m., I went to the Student Union, which is our brand new renovated building, and it's gorgeous. Just so many like friendly faces, just like people that you don't really get to see like on the daily because of online school. And everything's just really easy to focus and stay motivated. And I actually got a lot of work done. So those are just some of my favorite places to study on campus.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm so jealous you got to go in the student union. I haven't been in there yet since it's been renovated. That is a like she said, I mean, she's talking newly renovated. It was just opened after being under construction for a little bit. So I'm really excited to see that new building. That's also an iconic building on campus. A lot of students, that's one of the main buildings of campus, is that student union. Okay, so switching gears again a little bit. So we get a lot of questions on the road when we travel. You know, Meg and I travel to different high schools. Well, pre-COVID, virtually we travel to different high schools, and you know, we get a lot of question about different events that happen. And as an admissions counselor, you know, we always use the standard, you know, like big spring concert and the football games and the hockey games, especially hockey right now. Our hockey team is doing really well. You know, we always use those like standard events that we talk about, which are important and are very popular and tons of students go to. But what are some other events on campus that aren't as well known? You know, what are other events that you've been to, or maybe your friends have been to, that you want to share to the admitted students today? So we're going to start with Julia.
There are so many things at the Mullen Center. When I came to UMass, I only thought like, oh yeah, just maybe hockey and basketball, but the events they have there are honestly endless. They have constant comedy shows. They put on concerts there. They have people come and talk. I know Bernie Sanders has come to talk at the Mullen Center, and we've had Khalid and Cardi B come and perform at the Mullen Center. And every spring they have a spring concert. Unfortunately, not really this spring, but in the past, pre-COVID, there was spring concerts that you could go as a student. You could sign up to get a ticket. The tickets are $10 for the concerts. Someone who would see like Khalid or Cardi B, who'd usually be so much more than that. And it's just awesome to be able to have that experience and not have to shell out all this money for that too. So it's really nice to just like have some school pride and stuff. And honestly, I've gone to a lot of hockey and basketball games there, and those are one of my favorite things to do at UMass, because just like supporting your hockey team, like that's where all the school spirit comes from. And it's just really fun to be a part of that. And I'm also in intramural soccer right now. I am not good at soccer. I did not play in high school. I played other sports, but soccer was not my strong suit. So when my friends asked me to join an intramural team, I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I have to be good? Like, no, I'm not good at soccer. They were like, oh no, like, it's just for fun. I was like, okay. And I played our first game last Thursday on the newly renovated turf, masks and everything. And it was really fun. And you just got to play with your friends, just play some soccer. I wasn't very good, but it was really fun. And then at the end, when you get closer to like the end of the season of your intramural, there's intramural everything too, just to let you know. And they have a championship, and then whoever's the intramural champion of that year. So I really want to start an intramural kickball team. So hopefully that can happen as well.
That's awesome. Thank you, Julia. Go ahead, Brian.
I will want to be on that kickball team. That sounds so fun. But one of the other things that you can do, which I think have been a lot of like really great opportunities, as you mentioned, we do have a lot of shows that come through the Fine Arts Center. These range from like Broadway shows to like small circus companies, just basically like anything you could want. Comedy shows, a cappella shows are usually there, like put on by the students or theater groups on campus. Also talking about Mullen Center, they do offer free skates on Friday nights. I've gone with my friends and it's super fun. You just get to go ice skating around the practice rink. I definitely recommend. It's fun to see who of your friends can actually skate and who's going to wipe out. It's just very exciting to do. Another event we do have is the annual Tower Run. So this is a run you sign up for and you literally run the stairs of the library, all 440 of them. So if that's something you want to do, you absolutely can. But yeah, that's just some of the other stuff that you have going on. There's always something. The school sends out emails every Thursday just to keep all the students updated about like what's going on and what you can do.
Thank you both. That's awesome. That Tower Run sounds miserable. That one wouldn't be for me, I think. Okay, so another question we get all the time when we're traveling, and I know you get this on tour, are about the different clubs that we have here at UMass. So here at UMass, we call our clubs registered student organizations, or RSOs. So, as an admissions counselor and as a tour guide, we always bring up like those standard clubs, like the Quidditch Club and the Squirrel Watching Club. Our most popular club is the Ski and Board Club. So skiing and snowboarding. The Outing Club is also another popular one, which again are perfect examples, and those are great examples. But I just wanted to ask you both, what are other clubs maybe you're involved in, or again, maybe your friends are involved in, that you feel like we need to shine a light on some of these other clubs. So what are some examples you have of clubs that our students are involved in that you want to share today? Brian, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, so a few of the clubs I'm in, I'm the newly elected vice president of the club gymnastics team here. So if you wanted to learn how to do any flips or just like do it like recreationally or even compete, you can definitely do that. I'm more than glad to answer any questions about it. Besides that, I've been associated with the UMass Dance Company, so they kind of just do like open practices. You have to audition for them. Fortunately, I did not get in, but I do like to go to their open classes because they are really fun. I'm also a member of Students for Reproductive Justice, so we kind of just talk about any sort of like healthy sex education, as well as just like issues that reproductive justice kind of faces in the current climate. These are just a few of them that I'm in. I definitely say it's very easy to find whatever you want to do. Like there are over 330 clubs, and if you don't find one that fits you, you can literally just grab 6 friends, find an advisor, and you can start your own. So like, yeah, literally whatever. I saw a question in the chat. It says, can you learn gymnastics? You don't have any experience. Yes, we are open to all levels. If you want to literally just come learn how to do a backflip, like people do that all the time. So you can definitely come and just learn that. I'm going to pass it to Julia to talk about the clubs she's in.
Thanks, Brian. So I am in a few academic clubs here on campus. I'm in the Society of Women Engineers and Biomedical Engineering Society. And those clubs are more like academic based and more to make connections with other people. So we have some guest speakers come in, like in the Biomedical Engineering Society, we'll have biomedical engineers come in and give a guest speaking or present some research. And then it'll also just has some fun activities where you can bond with people that are from your major or interested in some of the same academics as you too. And I'm also in Habitat for Humanity, which is a service organization. And that is run through the Pioneer Valley. So we actually get to go on builds within the Pioneer Valley and help people who like really need us to build them some houses. And also my roommate is in the surf club here at UMass. So last fall, I think, like early in the fall, she signed up for a surf club outing, and she woke up bright and early on, I think, a Saturday or a Sunday, and they bussed them to Narragansett Beach in Rhode Island. So she had never surfed. She was like, I've never surfed in my life, but she really wanted to try it. And this is a great place to do that because you have all these resources that you can use here at UMass.
Awesome. Thank you both. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Brian. Yes, I love that surf club example because if you're not aware, and actually this is a good segue to our next topic. If you're not aware, where we are in Massachusetts is in the western part of the state. So we're actually not near water. We're not in Boston. We're not, anywhere near water. So that surf club is a really good example of something you wouldn't think we have, but we have it. And I love that. Okay, so again, kind of good segue to that. Another thing that we mentioned this on tour, and it's something we definitely cover in terms of like where we're located, but something that we can't really get into too much detail about because we have to cover so much stuff about UMass is the surrounding area. So like I just said, UMass Amherst is located in Amherst, so we're about 2 hours west of Boston, and then we're about 3.5 hours from New York City. So we're in the western part of the state. And we're located in what's called the Pioneer Valley, which is this little nook of Western Massachusetts. And it's just super cute, and it's very college town. And we're always voted one of the best college towns in the country, which is a cool little fact. So a lot of students at UMass also take advantage of the different things to do in the surrounding area. So you just heard about all the stuff you can do on campus, but then there's a plethora of other stuff you can do off campus. So I just want Julia and Brian to kind of talk a little bit about their favorite things to do off campus. And then I'm also going to ask them their favorite thing, their favorite place to eat off campus, because I told you I was a foodie and I want to hear where they like to go eat. So Julia, we'll start with you on your favorite spots off campus.
So some of the things that I did this past fall, I live off campus, and during COVID, there wasn't really many places to go because things were closed, but hopefully things are starting to open back up. But something that I took a lot of time doing in the fall was hiking. We are in such an amazing area to hike. There are so many different mountains and so many different trails, and I'm not an experienced hiker by any means, but I do love a good hike every once in a while. So me and my friends would go to Mount Sugarloaf, or we would go to Mount Norituck, and we would just go for the day, bring a snack, bring a lunch, and just hike. And it was really awesome. And a lot of UMass students are actually really involved in hiking. I think there's also an outdoors club or a hiking club. And another thing that I really spent a lot of time doing with my roommates was we would go into Northampton, which is one of the surrounding towns, cities, and I love Northampton. It has such a boho, old school, like kind of vibe, and so I would go thrifting all the time there. There's also a great thrift store, Salvation Army in Hadley, if you are into thrifting, and just go with my friends for the day, get some ice cream in Northampton, and just walk around. It's the perfect place to just like, it's a lot of life in that city, which I love. So I'm going to pass it to Brian to talk about some of his favorite off-campus stuff.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. Northampton is a great place to go. I definitely recommend bringing your parents there. Parents Weekend, they have a lot of really good restaurants and just like a lot of great concert venues too for when concerts become a thing again. One of the other places I really like to go to is there's Puffer's Pond, which is about 15 minutes from campus. When the weather's really nice, there's it's just a great place to go swimming. They have a little cliff thing that you can jump off of. They don't really it's like, I mean, like you're not supposed to, but like it's really fun to do it anyway. So I definitely recommend going to that. The Yankee Candle headquarters is also about 20 minutes away. So if you're like going smell candles, you can definitely do that. If you're a little more of a history buff, we do have some museums in the area. Like there's the Eric Carle Museum, Emily Dickinson Museum. There's a lot of really good stuff you can do there. Also, just because like obviously New England fall, one of the like people travel to come here. There's a lot of really good apple picking and like pumpkin picking you can do around here. I know Mike's Maze is up in Sunderland, which is like 15 minutes away from campus. They have a really good corn maze and a lot of like cute fall festivities that you can do. Yeah, there's just like, you can really find anything. I've done the Mount Norituck hike a few times. I love it. It like kills me because it's pretty steep, but I love going each time.
Awesome, thank you both. So hopefully that gave you a little snapshot of this area and this, kind of the surrounding stuff to do here in the Pioneer Valley. So we do have just a couple minutes. We were able to take some live questions from our pre-submitted questions. And one of them is actually a good transition from what we were just talking about. And then one is going to go back to dining a little bit. So one of the questions we had was about in-person tours. So we get a lot of questions about that right now. So we are still all virtual. You can see I'm from home and we're obviously holding this virtual session. So we currently are not offering in-person tours. We're hoping for an announcement about that soon though. So keep checking the website. It'll be posted on our website first for when we start allowing in-person tours. We're really hoping that that might happen this spring, but if it doesn't, there'll be talk about it during the summer. And then hopefully by fall, we'll be kind of, a little bit more back to normal. But like I said, right now we're still virtual. We're still not holding in-person tours. We're just holding these virtual sessions that you're part of today. But that's a really good question. Like I said, we've been getting that a lot, especially for admitted students. I understand the want and the need really to come visit campus. So I totally get that. So the next question we had is going to go back to dining, and I'm going to have the students answer this. I'm not sure who wants to take this. I think you both use this, but what's the kind of the deal with the discretionary, like with the dollars? You mentioned dining dollars. You can use those at the coffee places and the cafes and stuff. So can you just maybe touch upon that in a little bit more detail since we have the time?
Yeah, I can go into that. So usually when you get your meal plan, it comes with $250 dining dollars. So this is like virtual, like I don't want to say like fake money because it's like money, but you can use that at any of like the retail dining on campus. So you wouldn't use this in a dining hall necessarily. So you use your meal swipe to go in, just like get unlimited, however much you want to take. And then once you're done, you would leave. For dining dollars, it's more like you would go to one of the coffee shops on campus, or you go to Reed's Cafe to get like a sandwich or something like that. And you would just say that you're going to pay with dining dollars. You're given 250 just automatically with your meal plan. So you can use that. You can also use it at Blue Wall. You also, sorry, I believe you can add more or less if you want. You can really like customize how much dining dollars you want. Everyone's given 250 though once you have the like meal plan, and those are just used at like Blue Wall and other retail dining on campus.
Awesome. Thank you. Julia, was there anything you wanted to add to that?
I'm kind of going off of Brian, just there's also a debit plan too. So you can use your card that you have that has your dining dollars on it. And I would always run out of dining dollars. So I would always load some more money from my account onto my card. So I wouldn't have to bring around 2 cards. I would just have to bring my ID if I needed something.
Perfect, thank you. And just to touch what Brian said, it feels like free money because it's not something, it's different than that debit card that Julie was just talking about. So that's why it feels like free money, but you are paying for that. It's not like dining gifts you money. I just wanted to clarify that. I feel like that might be, since we're recording this, just wanted to clarify. Okay, so we do have time for one bonus question. And this is, I hope I don't throw Brian and Julie off too much here, but I just want them to kind of end. I think this is a really good question to end on, especially with admitted students. And I didn't mention this, and I'm so sorry. I should have congratulated all of you on your acceptance. That is normally the first thing that I do, so I apologize for that. But congratulations, all of you, in this session today on your acceptance. You all should be incredibly proud of yourself. Like I said, I've worked in the admissions office. This is my 9th year, and this is the most competitive class we've seen. And like I said, you just all should be really proud of yourselves. If we were all in person, I would have you all stand up and give you a round of applause. So again, you should be really proud. So I hope we can at least congratulate you virtually here. So a really good question, a last question to end on here is I just want Brian and Julia to just let us know why they chose UMass. Why did you pick this to be your home for 4 years? So we'll start with Julia.
I was convinced to go to a school that wasn't UMass. I'm from Massachusetts, and I was like, everyone goes to UMass. Like, I don't want to be another person going to UMass. But then when I took a tour, I realized that there's a reason that everyone goes to UMass from Massachusetts. We are 70% in-state and 30% out-of-state. But I really love going to UMass because even though I'm only like an hour and a half away from my home, it feels like a completely different world out here. I live in Central Mass, which is definitely very different from Western Mass. But just being on a college campus with all of these people, and I'm in the engineering college, which has a great program at UMass, which is another reason why I came here. But I really just loved the community of UMass, and that every single person that I had ever talked to about UMass that was older than me, never a bad thing about it. Like, everyone loved it. Everyone just raved about it, which was my favorite part. Okay, I'll pass it to Brian.
And so mine's a little bit untraditional reasoning. Little fun fact is I was actually training to become a circus artist, and I was like, I'm gonna go to circus, so I'm not gonna go to college. Like, college is my backup, that sort of stuff. And I only auditioned for like the most competitive circus school, so I didn't get in. But I knew I wanted to leave Pennsylvania. Ironically, I was like, I want to go somewhere where no one from my home is from. So unlike Julia, I picked UMass for that reason. I knew I wanted a big school, so I didn't want to kind of like a little fresh start, I guess I could say. And I toured it just to kind of like confirm. I honestly wasn't really thinking about it. I was kind of between here and Boulder, and I ended up picking UMass just because like there's a great, like the school has such a great reputation. It has like the kinesiology program I got into was really good. I was in honors. It kind of just like things kept adding on and rolling in. And then I toured it and I was like, okay, this feels right, because like I came, it was absolutely pouring. Construction was everywhere. Like this campus was not looking great, but everyone was just so like upbeat and happy. And like, you could tell you didn't have to like pick between any of your interests. Like people could really be like, I always had to pick between like arts and athletics, but here I could be like, oh, I can do both. And like, it's not weird. It's not going to be like I'm going to get judged. And like, even as an out-of-state student, like knowing almost no one, literally no one coming in, it was not at all hard to make friends. Like I came in, there's maybe I want to say there's maybe 5 total people from my high school between the 4 years spread out here. And like, I was completely comfortable meeting new people, and I didn't feel like I was being like on the outside because I wasn't from Massachusetts. So like, I honestly cannot see myself anywhere else. I'd love it here.
Thank you both. And I did not know that about you, Brian, with the circus bit. I didn't know that. So a little fun fact. All right, well, thank you both. I'm actually going to share my screen really quick. We just have a contact us slide that I want to put up. We said no presentations, but this is just a way for us to get in touch. So up on that slide are the email addresses to contact our office if you have any questions, and then all of our social media options are up there as well. So if you need to get in touch with us, please do, especially if something looks weird or wrong, or you have questions about something we talked about today. Please reach out. It's really important, especially in this virtual world. You can't just drop in on campus. And again, we talked about how we're not having visitors yet. So it's really important to get in touch with us if you're still, wondering about some questions that you have. Again, we hope you enjoyed this spotlight on our hidden gems of campus. And again, congratulations on your acceptance. I just want to reiterate, again, you should really be all proud of yourselves. And we hope you enjoyed it today. We hope that you make UMass your home for the next 4 years. So thank you, everyone. Take care.